My name is Maya. Did I act too fast to trust him? I sat near the aisle and felt the room change. 10 minutes to the ceremony. Guests arrived. The bride was calm and bright. The groom smiled at me like a hero. I had a secret feeling, but I could not say it. The toast papers shook in my hands. Suddenly the room smelled of flowers and fear. I loved him. I was betrayed. The countdown started in my head. The wedding felt like a map to a truth I did not want. My name is Maya, and I want to tell the story. I walked into the room with my bouquet. The guests looked at me with kind eyes. I felt small and big at the same time. I saw the groom across the room. He waved to me like a friend. I remembered our first talk. He said many sweet words then. I believed him for months. I wrote vows on white paper the night before. I practiced them in my room. 10 minutes. 9 minutes. The countdown kept me calm and loud inside. My best friend Anna held my hand. She smiled, but she looked worried. I did not ask why she looked worried. The ceremony room smelled like roses. The aisle had white candles and small lights. I stood near the door and watched the guests. A man near the back whispered, "He is a good man." I wanted to believe him. I wanted every guest to hear my vow. I folded my paper into a small square. I looked for the groom. He stood with the groom's best friend. They talked and laughed. They raised their heads and looked like leaders. I thought they were kind men. I did not know they had a secret plan. My heart beat fast. I felt cold in my hands. I pressed my lips together and tried to smile. The organ music started. 8 minutes. 7 minutes. The room quieted. The bride was ready. I walked slowly down the aisle. Everyone watched my dress move. I held the bouquet tight, and my steps were calm. I saw the groom's face close. He looked at me with a small bright smile. He took my hand. He said, "You look so beautiful." His voice was soft and warm. I felt happy in that moment. I read my vow in a small, clear voice. I said, "I promise to love you and keep our home safe." The groom nodded and looked down. He did not say much. He squeezed my hand and then he let go. The guest voices moved like a soft sea. Then the best friend cleared his throat. He said one sentence that changed the day. He said, "I have something to say. My name is Maya and I remember the next part well." The best friend stepped forward near the couple. He looked at the guests and then at me. I thought he wanted to give a toast. He did not give a normal toast. He said, "Objection." Everyone gasped and looked around. The priest paused and the music stopped. My heart fell hard. The groom smiled again, but the smile was thin now. He did not move to stop the speech. The guest near the back whispered questions. I felt heat in my face. The best friend said he had proof. He pulled out a small phone and showed the screen. I could not see the image well. The room felt loud and sharp. The groom took a step back. He looked small and big at the same time. The guests watched like they watched a show. I felt like a bird in a jar. The groom's voice was quiet when he said, "This is not true." But his hands were not steady. I tried to speak, but my throat stayed closed. The countdown in my head felt like heavy stones. 6 minutes. 5 minutes. The crowd waited for the next move. The groom reached for his jacket. A guest tried to stand and shout. The priest put up a hand and said, "Please calm down." The bride cried in a small, quick sound. She put her hand to her mouth. I saw my bouquet shake in my hands. The best friend said more names and dates. He named small things from our life. My skin prickled. I wanted to run. I wanted to leave the room and the ceremony and the aisle and the life I had built. The groom laughed in a soft way. His laugh hit the room like a small stone. Then he walked to the microphone. He held it steady like a man who had a plan. He said, "I will tell the real truth now." The clock in my head screamed countdown again. 4 minutes. 3 minutes. 2 minutes. I thought the day would end with an objection. I did not know what came next. My name is Maya, and I listened with a small burning in my chest. The groom looked at the room like he was ready to perform. He said, "I will speak so all can hear." He spoke slow and clear. He told a story about me. He told a story about our past trips and small gifts. At first the words were kind. Then they shifted. He said things that made guests look surprised. He used many names and dates. He said I had taken money and hidden it. He said I lied about work and home. I felt a sharp stop in my breathing. The bride stepped back and a guest whispered, "Is this true?" I shook my head fast. I said, "No. This is not true." The groom smiled at me like a man who plans a game. He said, "You can prove it now." The guests looked at me like judges. My hands were small and pale. I wanted Anna to speak. She did not. She looked down and then away. My trust broke into thin pieces. The groom kept talking. He called a friend and showed a message from my phone. The friend read it aloud with a calm voice. The words were not mine, but the room believed them. The groom said, "I found the message last week." He used the word "found" like a knife. The priest looked sad and slow. The bride covered her face with her hands. I stepped forward and said, "Please stop. This is not real." A guest stood and shouted, "Tell us the truth." The groom smiled with soft eyes and said, "The truth is simple. She took our savings." I wanted to scream, but my voice broke. The countdown that day moved like a drum. 1 minute. 30 seconds. 10 seconds. I felt all eyes on me. I felt small like a child again. Then the groom reached into his pocket and showed a small paper. He said, "I have the real proof. I will read it now." I looked at his face. He looked calm. I thought he wanted justice. I did not know he wanted power. The toast turned into a trap. The reception room felt cold and sharp. The bouquet fell from my hands and hit the floor. The sound felt very loud. I knelt down to pick it up. When I stood, I saw a phone on a table. It was my phone and a photo was on the screen. The photo showed me with a man in a bar last winter. The groom looked at the picture like a man who solved a case. I heard someone say, "She is not who we thought." My name is Maya, and I learned a hard lesson that day. The groom was the one who made the plan. He used small lies and a photo to break trust. He was the villain in the story. He wanted to be the hero to the guests. He needed power and a new life. I felt pain and also a strange calm. I left the ceremony after a short quiet talk. Anna did not come with me then. I walked away from the aisle and the reception lights. Later I met Anna at a small cafe. She apologized. She said she felt scared of the groom. She said he had asked her to help with the scene. I felt angry but also free. I returned some papers and got help from a lawyer. I found that truth can be slow. I found that good friends sometimes hide in fear. The lesson I share is small and clear. Do not let one smile control your life. Trust must be earned by truth. You can leave a bad story and rebuild your life. I learned to count time differently now. I count steps forward and not a countdown to fear. I hope you learn to trust your eyes and your heart. The wedding words still live in my mind, but I now see my future bright and calm.